past master at understanding the Babylonian black magic that underpins our institutions of power, as it relates to everything from banking to governance to spirituality, to how the world religions have all been weaponized, to how all of the institutions that govern our world are foundationally connected, interconnected through syncretism into a kind of Borg complex. So he's a mathematician, a geometer, a philosopher, a very, very exceptional polymath. But he's also is radical. And the things that he's discovered and that he's brought forth, he doesn't pursue money or fame. He genuinely doesn't. He's so genuine in that. Incredibly humble and beautiful soul. He's like a sparrow, like a bird. He's very fragile. We've spent time with him in the flesh, and he genuinely is a kind of John Dee archetypal wizard. And he's going. One of the things, he's not doing Q&A with us. That's not what he's doing. He's here to give the ultimate kind of distilled workshop, and we're very blessed to be having this. And if Manelli forgets to press record, it'll be a crime against humanity. I know, it's a joke. But the point here being, what we're going to capture in the next 2 hours is going to be extraordinary anyway. I'll just make sure that we can all hear him and hear what he's in. Try to follow him from the beginning. If you lose too much of what he's saying, you're likely to really lag. And he's not going to stop for you. And at the end, I'm going to ask him to explain the truth about Mexico. And what he showed me last year about Mexico was staggering. So who and what Mexico is, why was Mexico constructed? Why was it orchestrated? What was the whole conquistadors and the whole thing about? And what is modern day Mexico as an asset to this globalist agenda? That's stuff that Trump and the inner circle, the so-called white hats, knows about. And that's why the cartels emerged, this extraordinary kind of Mexico being a kind of crossroad for the most diabolical trafficking, from guns to drugs to humans to you name it. And there's also extraterrestrial dimensions to it, which he will probably touch on as well. But
so Sasha, he has 2 hours and then it's a hard stop because it's the ceremony.
Right. So what I'm hoping is that 90 minutes in, hour and a half in, he might be able to wind down to get a couple of questions in. Okay.
Okay, but if he doesn't, we have to stop. We paid so much money for this.
Hey.
Hey, Sasha. I'm so sorry. Hello, everyone.
Hey, brother. How are you doing?
Not too good, be honest.
Don't say that. Don't tell us that. We don't want to hear that. You're looking fantastic.
Thanks, brother. No, it's just I had a phone call with my son and he's not in a very, very good place at all. And I thought I had another half hour. I must have misunderstood Ali. I thought I had another half hour. So I'm still talking to my son in Australia and yelling at him and getting him to get his act together. He's not in a good place. But anyway.
Sorry to hear that. And we send a group plasma beam in your direction quite seriously.
Yeah, please. Thank you.
So, brother, we know we've only got 90 minutes, and we are all ready. Notebooks. Everyone is fully attentive. Everyone here knows who you are. I think absent one individual, two individuals, but just whatever it is that you are putting out, we are going to be receiving with open heart and open mind. And I personally only have one question, which I wanted to ask. If you could give me 3 minutes at the end to do that. But other than that, we are your humble students. And thank you for being with us today. You're on a very big screen on the wall, so I'll just turn this around so you can see the room. But yeah, crack on. Thank you, Santos.
Hey, everybody. Okay. Mostly women.
Well, we've got Professor Glenn Ryan, who'll put his hand up there. There he is.
No, it's good though, because it's time for the women to shine, right?
Yep,
And they are. All right, guys, so the theme is the key to direct knowledge. So the alternative to direct knowledge, or the opposite, probably more appropriately, is second-hand knowledge. Now, we've all been educated, right? Hands up if you haven't been educated in the indoctrination camps, which are military schools, right? Even if it's a university, private. If you've had that education, I'm sure no one can put their hands up. I have been indoctrinated as well. I was a Jehovah's Witness for 4 decades, knocking on people's doors, thinking I was sharing everlasting knowledge of truth which would set people free. Instead, I was working for a Rockefeller, JP Morgan, Chase Manhattan funded mind control organization. And I left them in 2005, and then 2007, all the books I read, all the studying, all the paying attention that I did, it sort of just all came together. And then I realized how to get direct knowledge, which I want to share with you. Now, I'll just go straight to the crunch, and then I'll elaborate about direct knowledge as opposed to second-hand knowledge. How to get direct knowledge is the wave. The wave. Everything is waving. Your body is waving. Atoms are waving. The solid walls around you, you think they're solid because they go. When you touch them, they're not. Everything is waves. Walter Russell said, the secret of the universe lies in the wave. Now, ultimately, by the time I finish my whiteboard presentation, that wave is astrology, tropical astrology. It is said by the ancients, if you do not know astrology, you will never see anything around you. You will never understand anything around you. You won't see everything for what it truly is. You will only see through a blurry glass. So second-hand knowledge, what is it? All right, well, your professor may have been a great professor. He taught you physics and he was a genius. Well, he was giving you second-hand knowledge. It's called scientism. It's not science. Science is simple. The wave is simple. The key to everlasting knowledge and direct knowledge, not just knowledge, trivial knowledge, etc. Direct knowledge is one thing, the wave, the atom. Every atom is waving. Okay, now let's just have a quick example. So you've got a friend called Bob. You've known him for 10 years. And Bob keeps telling you about his red Corvette. I have a red Corvette. You've never seen it. But you know that Bob is 100% trustworthy, never lied, honest, authentic and true in all of his dealings. So you go around and tell all your friends, oh, Bob's got a red Corvette. You end up telling 100 of your friends, 100 people, Bob's got a red Corvette, he's got a red Corvette, red Corvette. Well, one day you turn up there and you say, look, Bob, let me see your red Corvette. And he opens up the garage and guess what? It's blue. And you say, Bob, that's not red, that's blue. He says, no, that's red. No, it's blue. It's not a red Corvette. So what you didn't know was that Bob was colorblind. And he saw his blue Corvette as red. He was being truthful to himself, but not to his eyes. Because he doesn't even know he's colorblind. But you just worked out, well, he's colorblind, and now I have been an inadvertent liar to many people with this second-hand knowledge, and now I have direct knowledge. Why? Because I directly see the Corvette. I open the door to confirm this fancy red Corvette is not red, it's blue. That is direct knowledge. Going to source books, avoiding the gurus, the false gurus, the smiling gurus, avoiding the teachers. In the scriptures, Jesus said, do not call anyone on this earth teacher, because only one is your teacher, the Christ. And who's the Christ? Well, it's you. All you people looking at me, you are the body of Christ. Because Christ means consciousness. Are you conscious? Yeah. Human consciousness leads to divine consciousness. Animals do not have that. They have animal consciousness. So, when you go directly to the source, you can source all the knowledge you want. So, what is a wave? Well, we know a wave is this. That's a wave. Usually it has a plane of inertia, and we call this positive, and we call this negative. Well, that's pretty simple. That's duality. And we know that duality is not unity. Yes, this is one thing, it's one wave, but it's split in two. And so you've got positive on your battery, and you've got negative on your battery. You've got daylight, you've got darkness. You've got hot, you've got cold. There's all this polarity. Now, polarity does not translate to duality. Duality is a trap which blocks you from unity. How you get unity from this is you divide a wave, which has been taught to us from the ancients since forever, into 12. And we're going to get to that. So you've got 12. That's a bit shonky. God, I can do better than that. Let's start again. So, what I'm going to do now, this is probably a good idea that I stuffed that up. I'm going to put the one and only wave which will teach you everything. It's not any wave that you'll find in a microscope. It's not in the microcosm at all. It's not in the mesocosm. It's in the macrocosm. And that wave is called the ecliptic. The ecliptic is the most important word you need in your vocabulary. The ecliptic. What is the ecliptic? You'll never see it in the sky. It's the path of the sun as it goes up to the Tropic of Cancer, summer, and down to the Tropic of Capricorn, winter. And on the ecliptic, there are 365 days. Right? Now, all the holy days, from Easter to Christmas to St. Patrick's Day to the Saturnalia to Ramadan, Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah, it's all on the ecliptic. You see, so this is an expanded wave which gives you not only information about how electromagnetics work, because ultimately what I'm getting at is everything is electromagnetic. Everything. You are electromagnetic, the sun is, the earth is, everything is. Every thought you have, every emotion wave you have, everything is electromagnetic and nothing is not. So, if we do the Tropic of Cancer, at the top, where it always should be, and then we do the equator, and then we do the Tropic of Capricorn. Is there enough light for you to see this? Maybe I should turn, hang on. Shit.
Yes, Santos, we can see great. Somebody muted me. I've just unmuted. We can see perfectly.
So was it better before or now that I turned the light on?
It's good now.
Okay.
The microphone is good.
All right, Cancer, Capricorn. All right, this is the equator. Now on March the 21st, what's that? The equinox. Equinox, meaning the nox, the night, is equal to the day. Only on this day here, there's the wave. That's the ecliptic. And this is happening every year. So the year is the teacher of all knowledge. And this is also the day, which is a fractal of a year. It's both the same. During the day, you have daylight and you have night. During the year, you have summer and you have winter. It's the same thing, okay? So, here is June the 21st. So we put a line down here. So we've got the equinox. 90 days later, we have a solstice. Then we have September, the autumnal equinox. We're going to put the 23rd there. And then over here, December 21st, the solstice. Now, that's a linear chart. We're going to do a static chart. So we're going to bring all of this around to here. And now we have the Holy Cross. That's what the cross is. The cross is nothing, swastika, the yin and yang, nothing but a symbol for the wave universe which we live in. Okay? Now, so what we have here, December 21st. Right. So, along this ecliptic, there are holy days. Easter always happens in Aries, the first sign. Never changes, never will. The 21st of March has always been the equinox. Since time immemorial, it will never change, it never will. Regardless of precession of the equinoxes and the slippage, and when you get your phone app and you look at the sky, you say, hey, the sun's not in Taurus, it's in Aries. Something's wrong. No, it's not wrong, because you have to go by the ecliptic, not by the constellations. The 12 signs of the zodiac are not the constellations that represent those signs. The signs of the zodiac are on the ecliptic, and they are all 30 degrees each. So, Aries is the first sign, Taurus second, Gemini third, Tropic of Cancer, well, that's where Cancer is, at the Tropic of Cancer. Leo, the middle of summer. See, this is summer. Spring, summer, fall. Now, why would that be called autumn, be called the fall? Because the sun is waning. When it gets up to here, it's bad news for the sun. It's all decline. Right? Then it gets here, and on the 25th of December, we celebrate the birth of the sun. Well, why would that be? Well, because the 25th of September is the day that it begins to wax again, and we rejoice and we wait for the sun to get here so we can eat the Passover lamb. And the Jews celebrate the Passover lamb, the Passover, because the sun has passed over from hell to heaven. And that's how astrology teaches you everything you need to know. Everything bar none. Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, and guess what that is? Anyone want to hazard a guess? If that's Cancer and the Tropic of Cancer is there, what's the opposite sign? Capricorn, right? Tropic of Capricorn. Capricorn is always at the bottom. The goat. Right? And what does the goat do? Goat always wants to climb shit. They see a table, they want to climb it. That's why the goat is at the bottom, because he's got to do his climbing. Aquarius and Pisces. Now, where does this all come from? It comes from energy. Tesla. Everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. Now, you can add to that resonance. That's the fourth thing. Without resonance, the other three you can just throw them away, because if there's no resonance, nothing in the material universe will be sustained. It will just disappear one day to the next. In fact, it's recreating itself every trillionth of a second. Right now, you guys are flashing on and off. You're not constantly physical. There are AC, all these AC lights, they're not constant, they're not direct current. They are AC, which means they go on and off, but you can't see the off. There's always light in the room. Well, that's how you are, because you are light, pulsating. So, but your eyes can only see 24 frames a second, and you can't see 6 billion, so you can't see the off bit. Now, scientists, there's a scientist called Bruce Cathy in New Zealand who actually discovered that the scientists at the top who are working with high tech, they're not working when everything is on. They're working when everything is off. In other words, when there's nothing in the universe, when it switches off, which is happening billions of times a second. I don't know what the number is, but it's a ridiculous number. Right, so the source of all things, the source of all light, and this is where this comes from, by the way, guys. And there you go. You seen that before? Oh yeah. We've all seen that. That's the source of all light. That's the monad. The monad is not the other yin and yang. And would anyone like to... There's only two yin and yangs. The black and white one. And what's the other coloured one? South Korean flag. Pepsi. Right. Because you won't find any other colours that don't exist. There's only two. Because this is the monad, the source, and this is the dyad, polarity. You see these I Ching? Water, earth, air, fire. Or earth and air. It's all there in those two colours. The earth is red, fire is red, predominantly. Air is blue, the sky, and water is blue. So those four are symbolised in that. This is electricity. Electricity is a hybrid. It cannot exist if it doesn't have its mother, father, Krishna, Radharani. Krishna is black, Radharani is white. And the same with, you see these people arguing about, oh, Jesus is black. I've seen pictures of Jesus where he's black. Oh, but he's got blue eyes and red hair. And he's blonde and he's a white person. It's this. It's this. Because there was no historical Jesus. There's not one shred of proof at all whatsoever that Jesus was historical. In fact, I've just released a presentation, and I'm going to write a book about this, of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of geniuses Since 2,000 years of this historical Jesus buffoon story to keep people blind from their own Jesus Christ divine nature, and so that we're waiting for someone to save us when we can't save ourselves, I'm going to release this book of all the greatest minds, including Leonardo da Vinci and everyone, Thomas Paine, all saying that the story of Jesus is just a parody on the sun, on the ecliptic with his 12 signs. It's all a parody. It's not historical. It's not historical. I hope I haven't shattered anyone's idea about. It's okay if you want, churchgoers, that they probably do need Jesus to be historical, because it doesn't really matter, because it's what is written about Jesus is how to be the ideal human, man or woman. Now, it's very important to understand this, guys. There's only 3 field modalities in the universe. This is the ether, the 5th element, the quintessence, and this is plasma, the plasma world. Scientists tell you that everything is plasma. Now, in astrology, so this, if you know Kabbalah, that's the Kabbalistic tree, right? This is Kether, and this is Malkuth, and here in the middle you've got Tefereth, right? You've got 10 fingers, you've got 10 Sephiroth in Kabbalah. Right, well, that's why we do this when everything's good, thumbs up, because that's the ether. That's the monad. And those 4 fingers represent the 4 elements which scientists call plasma, gas, liquid, solid. Those are the 4 states of matter. Einstein removed the ether. He said, it doesn't exist. But Pythagoras knew about the ether, and all the geniuses before Einstein, who was a Jesuit, and the Jesuits are, well, according to Helena Blavatsky, and people seem to think that she was evil somehow, I don't know how, because I've read her books and she's a genius. She exposed them, and she said there is one entity on this earth that exists only to prevent the truth from reaching all of humanity, and they are the Jesuits. All right? So you know how we've got people saying, it's the Jews. The Jews own all the things, and they're all behind this and that and this. That the Jews and the freaking Italians and whoever else you, whatever other race you want, they can't do anything unless the Triple Crown, which the Pope wears, he wears a tiara. It's not one crown, it's a triple crown, which is the Vatican Corporation on top, the Holy See, and the Roman Curia. And then under them come their army, the Jesuits. Without those 4 entities telling everybody else, the Committee of 300, the Trilateral Commission, MI5, MI6, MK Ultra, without those 3 entities telling them what to do, all roads lead to Rome. They don't lead to Israel or to Washington, D.C. or to London. All roads lead to Rome, because that's where the Triple Crown is. That's where Satan's headquarters are, if you want to call it Satan. Now, what is this? It's very important to understand this. This is the beginning of your journey of direct knowledge. This symbol. It's the beginning. Black light is dielectricity. masculine, rest and motion. This is feminine. Motion is feminine. You would think the masculine would be the action motion hero, wouldn't you? It's feminine. You're probably already confused because you've been told white light is masculine and black light is feminine. No, that's a deliberate New Age lie. Okay, this is dielectricity, which is rest and inertia, and this is force and motion. Yeah, feminine. Force and motion. And it's called magnetism. Mary Magdalene. Magdalene. So we've got magnetism, and in Sanskrit, magnetism means to move. And Maga is the mother. The white light is the mother. The white light, Noah and his ark, that's Noah on this side. Over here, that white light. And these are the 7 other people that were in his boat. And this is Snow White, and these are the 7 dwarves. And the list goes on and on and on. You think any nursery rhyme, fairy tale, gospel, cosmology, legend, tragedy, opera is literal? It's all based on this. And that white, you won't see the black light associated with this, but it is. Because white light has all the colours in it, black light is colourless. So they go well together. So the eternal monad, when this complete, fully conscious, fully energetic, fully eternal monad decides, because you can imagine if you're eternal and nothing else is going on around you, you'd get pretty bored. So what happens is they make a goddess called Sophia, or a child. You see how Osiris and Isis have a child, and it's called Horus. This is Horus. And this is Isis, white, and Osiris is what colour? Well, he's black. Sometimes green, but generally he's black. So this is the monad. When the monad decides that it's bored shitless, excuse my French, it decides that it makes a copy of itself and says, well, let's make a world. And let's fragment our consciousness into the consciousness of all the beings that we create, whether they be archangels, seraphim, cherubim, humans, animals. Let's fragment it and make the electrical world, which is hybrid. Everything is electrical. Everything is atoms. The Egyptians said, all is atum. That means everything is atoms. Your body is atoms. That's why you call it an anatomy, because it's full of atoms. Otherwise it would have another name altogether. But you have an anatomy. Atoms. And that gives you red blood, blue blood. In the Matrix, red pill, blue pill. Red tap, faucet for hot water, blue faucet, tap for cold water. Little girls get pink, babies in the hospital. Little boys get blue. Red police siren, blue police siren. Red ambulance siren, blue. Republicans are red, Democrats are blue, neither of them give a shit about you. Roses are red, violets are blue. You see, these two colours are what create the illusion all around you. This is Maya, the dyad, polarising you. making you think that because you have a different look to the one standing next to you, that you are separate. You're not. You never will be. No matter how much you don't like the lady or the guy sitting next to you, or your mother or your father, they are you. Simple as that. And you'll never escape that. And until you know that, there will never be harmony on the earth. This is why the war in the world is not between left and right, Republicans and Democrats. It's the ups, who are vampires, and the downs, who are everybody who's been subjugated to their slave system. And the only way to get out of it is to understand this principle. This is the monad, and this is the dyad, and this is the world of effects, which is beautiful. We're not cursing this at all, nor the number two. When Pythagoras in his school, when he ever heard the number two, he would spit on the ground as a symbolic gesture that is the evil number. And you see, when you think about it, odd numbers are masculine, indivisible. Even numbers, Eve, are divisible. And division can be evil. But two is also multiplication. You see, God said to Adam and Eve, multiply and fill the earth, because Adam was alone before Eve came along. So it's said jokingly, tongue-in-cheek, by all the churchgoers, oh, Adam was happy until Eve came along and then everything went down, right? Well, because Adam means atom, one. Eve are the even numbers, 2, split right down the middle. 4, split right down the middle. 6, hex, very evil number. 8, those are all the feminine numbers. Masculine numbers, 1, cannot be divided. 3, can't be split down the middle. 5, can't be split down the middle. 7, 9, can't be split down the middle. So this is a uniting, resting light. When you pass on to the next side, you don't go to the white light. You go to the black where there is no lack. That's where you go back to the black. Why? Because if you don't get tricked by the white light, see, white light in Spanish is blanco. In English, that means blank. You'll get your memory blanked out, and you'll start again. And you'll have all of your ancestors waiting for you, and all of these holy saying, oh yes, this is the white light, and everything's beautiful, and you feel really, really good. And you say, yeah, I'm going with you. This is too good. Well, you're going to get tricked. It's the black where there is no lack, where you go back. Okay, so, and that's the monad, but they work together, the black and the white light. Now, this principle here, it can only create the red shift, blue shift world, because I don't know whether you did physics at school or whatever, but my physics teacher was always talking about red shift, blue shift, red shift, blue shift. And I'm like, what is that? Well, they say, oh, well, the red stars, they're going away from you, and the blue stars that you see are coming toward you. Well, there's only 4 red stars in the sky. Betelgeuse, Antares, Arcturus, and Aldebaran. So there's only 4 stars going away from us, and all the other billions of stars are coming toward us. Why aren't they getting any brighter? Because everything that they say is true, but only half true. All the models they teach are true, but only half true. That's why you need direct knowledge. Remember, your friend Bob said his car was red? Well, that's second-hand knowledge. And you went and told all your friends and became an inadvertent liar. Doesn't mean you should unfriend Bob. Now you have to go and correct everything. You've got, It's like when I was a Jehovah's Witness, I realised everything I was talking was shit, was bullshit. And then I discovered syncretism and corrected everything. So now you go back to all the people you told about the red Corvette and you say, hey, I've got direct knowledge now. Bob's colourblind. So I told you a lie, right? So for this to exist, electricity, El, the god El, you've heard people talking about how evil this god El or Bel is, haven't you? If you've done your theology, right? Everyone's talking about El is evil, Elohim, that's Satan, right? Well, it's electricity. Electricity is a different wave. Remember I said everything is waving. This wave is a standing wave, the Tesla wave, otherwise known as the longitudinal wave. It's not a transverse wave, the Hertz wave. See, the transverse wave that goes like this, that has a decay factor in it. Like when you're in town and you're listening to your favourite radio station, right, and you live 50 miles out in the boonies, right, what happens is after 10 minutes, the signal starts to get crackly, right? And then after 20 minutes, you lose the signal. And your favourite song just came on, and it's crackling, you have to turn it off, it's unbearable to listen to. That's because they're using transverse waves. They could easily use longitudinal waves and it would go all around the earth. Marconi invented, or even Tesla and Edison, they knew about the standing wave. So it's called scalar wave, standing wave, radial wave. Why is it radial? Well, if you get we can get rid of this half of this. I'm going to get rid of this half. So remember, dielectricity, magnetism, and their child electricity. That's it. That's the rest, that's the motion, that's the effect. Cause and effect. So, when you see a nice, calm, steady pond, and you want to put a ripple in there, and you get a little pebble, and you drop it straight down in the middle, what happens? Well, you see waves rippling. And these waves are always propagating and getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and they don't shrink. They get bigger. This circle is small and this circle is big. And this is the radial wave, the standing wave. Schallberger, all the greats, Tesla, they all spoke about this wave. So the Hertz wave, Hertzian wave, the transverse wave, which hurts, that's why they created the electrical grid. See, back in the days of Tartaria, I hope you know about that, our real history, they had a magnetic grid, and all the cathedrals with the bells in them and all the tours and turrets, they were all connected. The pyramids, everything, the whole, and that's what resonance is. Remember I said, in order to sustain life so that we can live forever, should we want to, on this earth, you can't just have energy, frequency and vibration. Because vibration is this. But if you want the vibration world, if you want physical stuff, flowers and butterflies and mountains and rivers, you need resonance. So they set up a resonance grid around the earth, the pyramids and everything. That's why they've all been destroyed. There's only a few of these left on the grid. right? And then they created what's called the electrical grid, which is the trap, the prison. And those waves that you're getting when you talk on the phone, those are transverse waves, Hertzian waves, which will hurt you. They know they can make phones with standing waves. They know they can use free energy. We don't need oil. We don't need to bomb Iran or Venezuela because we've got free energy, right? Stanley Meyer, does that name ring a bell? He invented a car, I think it was a battery car, and then another guy, a car that ran on half a cup of water all day long. So you get in your car, you put a half cup of water in there, drive everywhere you want to go. You can go from New York to Los Angeles with probably about a litre of water. So why do we need gas? Because the same people that made the electrical grid, which ionizes radiation and keeps you sick. Are any of you on medications? Have you been to doctors? Do you have health insurance? I've never paid health insurance in my life. God damn, another expense. We've all been sick. We've all been attacked. If we had the resonance grid, which was magnetic, and Tartaria wasn't destroyed by the Jesuits, which they started doing after the French Revolution, and especially in 1812 and 1850 and World War I and World War II, that was to destroy any remnant of the old world of peace, where we knew this simple knowledge of waves. Everything that will give you direct knowledge will be the wave. And Snow White and her little dwarves, see, this is Grumpy. On the top, that's Grumpy. Blue is happy. Yeah? Dopey is yellow. And you'll see it. Just check out Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Check out the names, check out the colours. It's not always consistent, but that's what it is, because there is no nursery rhyme, there is no gospel, fairy tale, cosmology, mythology that isn't talking about light. Light is conscious. So, as I said, everything is electromagnetic, but electromagnetics is also colour, it's also light, it's also sound. It's electricity. It's everything, because everything is one. We divide things to make them complicated. Right? With this lesson, you can learn more than you will learn in a doctorate in physics. And even if you do a doctorate, matriculated in physics, you still will have many questions unanswered and unsolved because they give you the wrong model. First thing we must do is have the correct model, the wave. Now see, when this wave propagates, it gets bigger. But this wave here, it must diminish. Because it's doing this. This is resistance. You know how they have amps, volts, and what's the other one? Ohms? Ohms. Ohms is resistance, isn't it? If I'm not wrong, yeah. Okay, so, well that's this. See that? The vibration? That comes from the Latin word vibora, serpent. The serpent in the Garden of Eden who seduced Eve. This is Eve. The sine wave that I showed you before. The sine wave is just the sin the sin of Ave Maria. Ave in Italian, or Eva, is Eve. The sin of Eve, because she ate from the physical world, she ate from the tree of knowledge, of the knowledge of physicality, is the sine wave, not this wave. This is the eternal, everlasting wave, the radial wave. This is the vibora, vibration, which is vibora. Okay, so I want to move on. There it is in your body. You are this, a torus field. Now we're going to move on to the torus field. But before that, we have to complete the sine wave. We have to understand astrology. We need the basics of astrology. Without astrology, you'll be forever lost. You won't be able to even pick people's signs. My sign is Aries. It's totally obvious, totally obvious. When you know what to look for, you won't just say, oh, yep, I can see fire in Santos, cardinal fire, Aries. I can see the ram, you know, I can see him head button and everything like that. He's rambunctious, he's impetuous, impatient. You'll see it. You'll be able to pick a Virgo, you'll be able to pick a Libran. I do it all the time. Sometimes I pick the element, earth. Oh, this person's very earthy, he's got to be a Taurus. And then I look for other things, facial features, because the face, you can just look at someone's face if you know tropical astrology, not sidereal, because it's out and you'll never guess anything. I'll give you an example just really quickly, bear with me. Here is an amazing book that if you ever get this book, Dance of the Zodiac, I think it's available still on my website. It's a friend of mine. I've been teaching out of this book for about 15 years. This is what I'm talking about. These are famous people, starting with Aries. Iron. When I see iron in people, I think it's either Scorpio or Aries, and I get it right. Have a look at Taurus, that ruled by Mars, iron. You can see it, it's the ram, you can't miss it. Look at the difference between Taurus, the copper, the cow, the bull, the beautiful Venus eyes. Totally different to the piercing Aryan eyes. Look at the Geminis, skewed face. You know they say they're two-faced? Yeah, because one side of their face is drooping, the other side is up. One eye's going that way, one eye's looking straight at you, because they've got a skewed face. It's not like Aries, it's not like Taurus, that's a Gemini. Cancer, look at that. If you can't see the moon there, you're not looking. Leo, you want to see some felines? There's a jaguar there. This guy here is a jaguar, right? You got a couple of lionesses here. You see the lion mane? Virgo, bald. Usually the men, they're all bald. And they also have a skewed face. Very quirky, very eclectic type people. Libra, round heads, horizontal eyebrows, vertical dimples. It's a no-brainer. You can pick Librans off from 6 miles away. Scorpio. Can you see the beak? The eagle, the hawk beak? See a little hawk here? Because the phoenix is also a sign of Scorpio. Each one of these people have a bird beak. That's how you pick a Scorpio. You look for the beak. Look at the difference. See the stern iron look of Scorpio, like Aries? Have a look at the happy Sagittarians with the horse heads and the horse teeth. They're always smiling. You can't wipe the smile off a Sagittarian. Capricorn, if you can't see the goat there, well, need to change your glasses. Aquarian, big heads, and all of their eyes and everything is close together. Their facial, the eyes are close together, everything's compacted, but their heads are not. It's normal size heads, but everything normally is more together. That's Aquarian. You'll see it. Pisces is totally opposite, because the fish have their eyes on the side of their, look at that, how wide the eyes are. Totally different to Aquarians. So this is why we need to, just that alone opens your eyes, and you'll be looking around, you'll see people walking down the street, you say, that's a Scorpio look, that's a Scorpio, that guy's iron, that person's copper, that one's tin for Jupiter, lead for Capricorn, Saturn. All right, there it is, the rainbow, the feathered serpent. Okay, we can move on. So what I want to do now is fulfilling the key to all knowledge, guys. It's astrology. Astrology is a wave. Only in the wave, understanding wave function, will you understand all things. It's direct knowledge. So the journey begins with a dot, and that's where it ends. That's a dot. It doesn't have any topos or locus. In other words, it doesn't have a topology or location. No locus, no topos. It's just in counter space. Just like all the photos, you know how you've got about 6 million photos of your art on your phone? Well, they're not. You can't take those photos out to see them physically. You'll only see them digitally. They will only appear on your screen. They are not photos. And a phone that is full of 100 gigabytes of information is not heavier than a brand new phone of the same model. They both weigh the same. You just try it. You get a full phone, get the same model, a new one, and weigh them, they weigh the same. Well, how can that be? This is full. The other one's empty. It's brand new. Because see, behind this dot is everything. When they talk about the Big Bang and they say that everything came from nothing, they're kind of telling you the truth. But in the Bible there's a verse in Hebrew that says, we have come to know that everything that is seen comes from what is unseen. Therefore, the Big Bang should say, everything came from everything. It's just you can't see it. There's never nothing. There's no such thing as nothing. There is only everything. And it's everywhere. So this dot can be anywhere. Just like the photos I have here can be here or they can be here. But they're still in there. I can put the phone over there. I can throw it onto my bed there. But the photos are still there. So what happens with this dot? Well, this dot is actually dielectricity, rest. And so when black and white light, the black and white yin and yang, begin to think and say, well, this is boring, this is eternity, let's have some fun, let's make a world where we get men and women running around working, making love, having children. Let's have some experience, right? So what happens is this. The first thing that happens is From that center into the physical world, there is first redshift. Right? From this dot, which is actually green. It's the heart chakra. Let's do this properly. Now, you'll know that your bottom chakra, so that fella's green, we're starting from here. This is red shift, and this is blue shift. Indigo and violet, they are just hyper attenuated blue. So this is blue, this is all blue, this is all red. And green is always in the middle. And when you go to your printers, what do you ask for? I'll have some RGB, please. Red, green, blue for your printer. And from those three colours, you get all the colours from three colours. Yeah. Now, instantly, when red shift occurs, because it's a longer wave, the red wave is long. The blue wave, which has more capacitance, is very short. It's a short wave. So this comes out first, but simultaneously, unmistakably, according to science and experiments, blue comes out at the same time. So what you have now is left turning centripetal converging energy, and if your head was here, the energy would be coming through your fontanelle. Your fontanelle here is where the blue energy comes in. It gravitates. It's gravitation. This is radiation. There's only two things going on. Thank you, Walter Russell. The universe is a two-phase pump. Radiation and gravitation, and that's all that's going on. If you're looking for more stuff to happen, you look forever, because that's all that's happening. Everything's radiating and then gravitating back, like the serpent eating its tail. Okay? So we've got gravitation here, and you know how the compass and the square of the Freemasons? Yeah, because they know that this energy is far more effective than radiation, and we know that radiation can really harm you, because this is where they get all the explosion. This is explosive energy. You know, you've got nuclear, electrical plants, you know, burning stuff, burning coal, burning. When Schallberger said, hey, this is about 1 billion times more powerful than that, cold energy, fusion, not fission, we can use fusion. Why don't we just get rid of all of this electrical grid and that you have to pay for? And some people have been kicked out of their homes because they can't pay for the exorbitant price of this explosion energy rather than the implosion. Because radiation gets weaker and weaker as it expands, and when it reaches its apex or limit of expansion, where did I put that? Okay. Never mind. Okay. So, but this, which comes from redshift, on the plane of inertia. This is the plane of inertia. Every torus field has a plane of inertia. It's called the block wall. The block wall. Okay? Now, You see how effective this energy is? Because what's happening is it's coiling and compressing, and it has more potency. Whereas the energy that begins from the coil and explodes releases the explosion, and the energy is dissipated. So, what we have here, guys, is actually we have astrology right there. How? Well, look, the symbol of Aries is this, and it's the first sign, right? So let's have a look at this. Like the McDonald's M. Can you see Aries there? The first sign, the symbol? It's right there. Pisces, the last sign. Well, hot diggity. The plane of inertia, and that's the hyperbola. See, this is called a hyperbola. Looks like an hourglass. This is Chronos, time. And this is his partner, Rhea. So you've got Chronos. And there he is. That's time. It's an hourglass. And Rhea is area. Wavelength, wave amplitude. The amplitude is time. The wavelength is area, because it creates area. Right? So from Aries to Pisces, all the symbols are here, guys. All of them. Taurus. There's Taurus field. Gemini. Well, Gemini happens here. So if we get, let's say we get Aries, Libra. We should have done it the other way. I'll do it the other way. It's better if I do it this way, because Aries will start not over here. We need it to start in the middle. You can do it anyway, it doesn't matter, it's just a graph. So we've got Aries, Libra, Taurus, Scorpio, Gemini, Sagittarius, CC, Capricorn, Cancer, Capricorn, Leo, Virgo, Aquarius, and Pisces. Well, isn't it interesting that Pisces is that? And Aries is... This is getting a bit muddy. I'm kind of trying to rush, guys, because I can't get you down with being... I'm trying to do the best I can to squeeze in what I've prepared. But so Gemini is this, these two pillars, and there's Gemini right there. Gemini, Taurus, Aries, right? That's Gemini, the twins of the Taurus field. Cancer. Well, I mean, if you can't see the 69 there, you're not looking, right? Taurus, the zygote. Well, again, that's a cross section of the Taurus field. Leo. Virgo. Again, the M. That's Mary, the Virgin Mary, M-Y. Libra. Well, that's funny, because Libra's right here, right? Libra. Get rid of that. Libra is right here. September the 21st. It starts, Libra begins with September the 21st. Remember we had March 21st over here. This is June the 21st, the solstice, and this is December 21st, the solstice. But why would that be the symbol of Libra? Well, because Libra is the sign of the equinox. That's the sun going through the equator. Simple. And it's the seventh sign, and the other symbol is the balance. Why does Venus, the ruler of Libra, always carry a scale? Why is the scale associated with Libra? Because it's in the middle of the wave. It's in the middle of the wave. If you put a wave like this, whoops, like that, that's where Libra is. It can't be anywhere else. You can't have Libra over here where Capricorn is. You can't have it where Cancer is. The balancing scales has to balance the wave, and appropriately, it's right there. All right, so the other things that we can get from this is that we learn that there are 4 elements. The elements are fire, earth, Taurus, air, Gemini, and water, Cancer. And then it just repeats. Fire, earth, air, water. All right. So that's the beautiful thing about astrology, that when the 21st of March turns up every year, if you're paying attention, like, you know what happens when there's a full moon? You know when there's a full moon. All the loonies come out. The people in solitary confinement in jail, it is said that they scream in torture at the new moon. How do they know? At the full moon. How do they know it's the full moon? It's completely dark in there. They're quiet for the whole month, and then the full moon comes up and they go crazy. They go insane. Well, if you can't feel the changes on the 21st of every month when the signs change, you can feel when Aries, we're in Taurus now. I remember on the 21st of April, I felt the dense energy of Earth, Taurus, from the fiery, inspirational energy of Aries, which brought the spring and the blossom up, and then Taurus came and it hit like a brick wall. Pay attention on the 21st of every month, really, and you will feel that you'll be in tune with the elements. There are 12 seasons, folks. There are not 4 seasons. There are 12 seasons. These were called the original 12 seasons. The 12 labours of Hercules, the 12 voyages of Jason, the 12 disciples of Jesus, the 12 knights of the Round Table, the 12 loaves of bread, the shewbread on the table in the temple, the 12 brazen calves holding up the molten sea in the tabernacle. It's always 12. Why? Because everything is astrology. It is the mother of all sciences. And the more you are in tune with tropical astrology, not sidereal, that's a Jesuit psyop, the more you will feel the changes on the 21st of every month. You will feel the element changes. Fire signs turn into earth signs. Earth signs into air, and then air into water. When the fire signs turn up, you will feel inspiration, intuition, energy, lots of energy, explosive energy. When the earth signs come, you will feel sensual, grounded, practical. You start building your house. You won't start building a house, say, in Cancer. It'll be in Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. Guarantee it. Once we get all the data inputted into a computer, we'll find out when mostly houses begin to be built. It'll always be in an earth sign. When people go on a voyage on the ocean, it'll be in a water sign. When Gemini comes, it's coming soon. It'll be here in about 13 days, so 2 weeks. Earth, you're probably feeling the sensual, grounded energy of Taurus. You want to be practical. You want to be grounded. When Gemini comes on the 21st of May or the 22nd, watch what happens with your mentality. Your intellectual energy will start. You start being intellectual and thinking and writing. You'll start writing. You won't be doing practical things anymore. You'll go straight to the mind. It's a mental sign. Air is mental. Then when Cancer comes, you want a honeymoon. You want romance. You'll be looking for emotions. You'll be moody. There'll be moods. And you know what? People aren't paying attention. Every 2.5 days, every 60 hours, the moon, which is the fastest of all the orbs, is transiting a sign. Right now the moon is, can someone help me, in Aquarius? Does anyone know, please? I'll just look it up anyway. I haven't checked. Where the moon? Capricorn. Okay. So right now we are still in that, well, we've got the sun in Taurus and the moon in Capricorn. So right now we are very, very feeling grounded, practical. We want leisure. We want comforts. We're not looking for any of the other elements to be, because that's the moon, and that's how it's been for the last 2 days for you guys. The moon has been channeling her moody, watery energy through Earth, and you will have felt that in this group that you're in this event. You'll feel that. But watch what happens in about 3 or 4 hours when the moon transits Aquarius. You'll be more friendly to each other because it's a sign of friendship. You'll be more talkative, way more talkative. You'll be more intellectual in your conversations, and your mind will clear up. That's what Aquarius does when the moon is in Aquarius. And then in 3 days' time, so that'll be like the 10th, you'll get home probably, because I think the event's about to finish, right? You'll be home, or wherever. Emotions. You'll be churning out emotions, because that's what Pisces does. So not only do we have 30 days of the sun doing this to us, but we have 2.5 days or 60 hours of the moon changing elements on us as we go. It's like a clock it's a wheel within a wheel within a wheel within a wheel. So every minute every minute of the day will be like every hour like every day, like every week, like every month, like every year, decade, century, millennia. We can't notice it because we're going from microcosm to mesocosm to macrocosm, and we don't have the capacitance. It's inconceivable to be able to see all that. But if we follow the moon, if you should have a moon tracker on your phone, or just follow the moon, just astrologically, or just get a moon tracker. There's a million moon trackers online, right? And get a notebook out. Try this for an experiment, okay? Follow the moon, right? So you're going to say, all right, today is the 7th of May, the moon is in Aquarius. How do I feel? Write down a few of the things. Oh, I feel intellectual, I feel happy, I feel friendly, because that's what Aquarius is, right? And then wait for Pisces to come. Then write down some notes. And then Aries, write down some notes. And watch what happens. You will see patterns, recurring patterns. Have you ever experienced patterns yearly? Like, for instance, for me, the last 5 years, I've had 5 major events happen on the 1st of February. The 1st of February 2021, my best friend Daniel, his father died. The next year, I moved from the Caribbean up here, up to the mountains on February the 1st. It was a major move on February the 1st. The next year, my sister dies of obesity. Imagine that. Skinny me has a sister who died of obesity. She was really, really suffering all her life with obesity. The next year, Daniel dies on the 1st of February. His father died over here in 2021. 2022, 1st of February, I moved. 2023, my sister dies. Then Daniel dies, my best friend, in a car accident on 1st of February, 3 years after his father. And then last year, my mother dies on 1st of February. So, have you ever noticed that? I've noticed that all my life. I've noticed, but it only happens like 3 or 4 times and then it changes. But you'll find that if something happens on September the 2nd or something, right? Just make a note of it and pay attention. That's why it's always good to have a diary. But especially when it comes to astrology, guys. The beginning of understanding all things is when you open your eyes to astrology. It is the wave and it is the key. Yes, I said the key, thank you Walter Russell and all the greats, to understanding the universe is the wave, but that wave is astrology. The wave, that's it. So, wherever your journey begins in learning astrology, I would really, really recommend that you do. Because your life will take on a new expanded consciousness like you never, ever, ever experienced before. No matter how intuitive and psychic you are, some people have very, very special gifts that I probably never will have. But I thank the heavens that I know astrology, because without having the gifts that many other people around me have, and I look and I wonder, wow, some people see angels, they have visions and dreams. I've never had any of that stuff. I'm just a country bumpkin and just a dude. But the best thing that I have is astrology, because my eyes can see everything through astrology. Nothing is unseeable without the key of astrology. It is the key to direct knowledge. Now, probably you guys have got some questions. It looks like I've got 10 minutes. Would you like to ask some questions? I jammed all that up. There's a few other things I wanted to talk about. You're muted. I still can't hear you.
Sasha, you're muted.
Huh?
Oh, for God's sake, keep me unmuted. That was a huge, and again, he didn't hear it.
Yeah. Well,
Santos,
I hope you...
I've got a question, brother, which is
Yeah.
connected to Mexico. What is Mexico, the Mexico flag, and the connection to the colonialists, the conquestors, and the Babylonian basement? I'd love you just to summarize that, considering we're all in Mexico and many of us here live here and have a home here. What is Mexico in the pantheon of the Babylonian agenda?
Well, have you heard about the Mexican Inquisition? Why Mexico? Okay, so the Spanish Inquisition is a well-known thing, and then the Mexican Inquisition. Well, we all know that Europe is under Rome, and Italy's flag is red, white, and green, which, according to a very good researcher, Lorraine Moray, which you know very well, Sasha, she discovered and explained in her presentations how the Persian families, they actually, to destroy Greece, they went the back door. They started building Italy up behind Greece and using Rome to destroy Greece. And eventually Julius Caesar did just that. He destroyed the Grecian power from these Persian families. Now their flag is red, white and green. So when you look at the 22 black nobility families, Pallavicini, Aldobrandini, Aldobrandini means Al is the bull, or Al. Brandini means to brandish. So the Mithraic bull. Pallavicini means to be close to Allah. And that's from Persia. These families, right? So these families, they use the same colour flag. Whereas the French and the English have got red, white and blue, right? So pay attention. Persia's red, white and green. They set up the Roman Empire, red, white and green. And then it was the Borgia Pope, another one of these 22, Alexander VI, who said, let's go and conquer the Americas. They're just a bunch of dumb Indians and we'll just take all the Americas. And what we'll do is we'll put in the middle of the Americas, we'll put a red, white and green flag there. And we'll have our Roman Inquisition right in the middle. And don't think it was just Mexico, because the United States is under the Inquisition as well. And so is Paraguay and Argentina. It's all under the Vatican Inquisition. And if you don't believe me, just go to Wikipedia and put in the word Inquisition. And there it will tell you that in 2022, in the middle of COVID, the Inquisition changed its name. It didn't resurge. It didn't resurrect. It changed its name to the Dicastery of the Doctrine of the Faith. Just 3 years ago, the Inquisition. It's right there in Wikipedia. And then 2 years after I was born, in 65, I was born in 63, 65, yeah, they changed their name. It was the Sacred Congregation of the Doctrine of the Faith. So they changed their name 3 years ago. They changed it again 2 years after I was born. And then in 1908, they changed it again. And they just keep changing it. But we're still under the Inquisition, guys. If you have a birth certificate, which I know you do, you are Catholic. You're Catholic by default. You cannot be anything but Catholic, which means universal. You belong to the Catholic Church in their way of seeing things. So the birth certificate makes you a person. A person comes from parson. A parson is the servant of the church, right? If you have a zip code, that means that you have an office in your home. Well, office is an ecclesiastical word. The office of the Inquisition, the office of blah, blah, blah. Office is an ecclesiastical word. It's not a secular word. So person and office, your home is an office, and you've been turned into a person, not a man and a woman, by virtue of your birth certificate, and you are Catholic. The whole world is Catholic. There are no Muslims, there are no Jehovah's Witnesses, there are no Baptists. They can call themselves wherever they want, but the whole world that has birth certificate are Catholic. That's why the new globalist religion will be Catholic. It will be Catholic. It won't be Jewish. They won't get their whatever Abrahamic. What are theirs called? The Muslims got Sharia law. They won't get that. What are the Jews? Noahide. They won't get the Noahide laws. It will be the Catholic Inquisition.
Magnificent. Marcia, surely you've got a question for Santos. I mean, listening to all these ideas about jurisdiction and all the rest of it. Nothing you can pick his brains on for the rest of us, to elucidate the rest of us? You met Santos?
No, I haven't.
Santos, Marcia Ann Willardson is the core trustee of our ecclesiastical planetary shtick, which is a corporation soul and all of that. She's alpha point to our entire ecosystem and the highest authority that we know in anything and everything to do with all forms of law and jurisdiction. So I just figured that she's listening. I saw her nodding so many times to everything you were saying. I figured there'd be a little
Yes,
jive between you.
I really haven't just related all the different illusions of law into the astrology like you've done here today. So it really gives me a idea, because all of that confusion of law really is very singular.
Yeah, as Plato said, all things come from one and shall return to one. We are all one.
Yes, thank you.
Does anyone have a pointed question for this guru?
Oh, no, not me.
Yeah.
Can you tell what my astrological sign is? Okay. No, I just want it. Okay.
Well, okay, remember something, that you have a rising sign, mine is Leo, and a sun sign. And sometimes it's very easy to pick the rising sign first, which I've done more than enough times. Capricorn or Virgo? I don't know.
Virgo rising.
Virgo
rising. Pisces.
Okay. Oh, you're a Pisces? But you got Virgo rising? Yeah. A little bit of Virgo is showing. And I think you've got a strong Capricorn as well.
This from our Russian scientist. Here we go.
Hi, thank you very much for your lecture. Can you please show the book, because it's very interesting. I never heard anything like this.
Yeah, look, I hope this is still on my website, universaltruthschool.com. I really do. If not, I'm going to get it on there, because this guy here, William Schreiber, I met him when I went to Oregon, and I've sold him a shit ton. Did you hear the thunder? That was thunder.
Yes.
Rain is pouring down. Anyway, I've sold him probably 1 million of these, and I did that without asking for any money, because that man is struggling, right? And this is the best book ever to be able to pick people's facial signs and work out almost immediately. Sometimes you won't, because it can be convoluted between the rising, a little bit of the moon, and the sun, because there's 3 factors to look at. Okay? You can see my feline features. I've been called a cheetah, like a panther or a cheetah, because I'm very skinny and very, very fast, but I've got a Leo rising. That's a feline, right? But most people pick me, you're Aries, man, because I've got a very strong iron energy.
So, Santos, in closing, there's one more question coming from one of our retreatees, but my last question to you is a simple one, is if you could just elucidate, please, flat Earth, round Earth, torus Earth, concave Earth, hollow Earth, what the fuck is it?
Okay, so see all this torus field? Our Earth is globular in one sense, that in that we are inside of a torus field. Your body is a torus field, it's an apple shape. So the Earth somehow is inside of a torus field. It has to be. Now, I believe that this plane of inertia is the planet of Eartha. Why would we call the only planet, the true planet, in our solar system a planet? Why would we call it a planet and not a globulette? It's a planet, which means it's plane. The etymology of the word is plane. And it looks plain. No curvature has ever been detected anywhere. And besides that, the stationary Earth people have got thousands upon thousands of scientific, provable, repeatable experiments proving the Earth is stationary. And Einstein said that the globe people who believe that the Earth is moving, which obviously it's not, it's dead still, they haven't got any. He said there is no optical experiment ever that can prove that the Earth is moving. That was what Einstein said. So, but on the other hand, the stationary Earth people who've done all the scientific experiments, they've got trillions. So science is on the side of stationary Earth. Look, the shape really isn't as important as whether it's moving or not. The reason they want a moving Earth, the Jesuits, because Copernicus, 400 years ago, he's the one who's decided, because Christopher Columbus, when he set sail, he knew the Earth was stationary. Then 50 years later, so how did he find the Americas? Because the globe didn't exist. Copernicus invented it in 1542, whereas Columbus set sail in 1492. With what map? It wasn't a globe map. So 50 years after Columbus discovered all this world, this new world, comes the globe model, and they wanted it to move really fast. Why? So that we can buy into linear time. There's no such thing, guys. If you know that you're living on a safe, stationary Earth, you know that eternity exists and there is no such thing as time. Moving Earth, you'll buy into time and you'll be lost in the illusion of time. Remember, there's only now and now forever. There never was a past, there never will be a future. There's just a continuous now on a stationary Earth.
Bravo. Santos, thank you. Santos,
Thanks,
we have to wrap it up there. We've got the Mayans that, if you can see out there, about to perform a fantastic ceremony. I know you were with us last time we were doing a retreat in Mexico.
Hey, Ali.
We love you deeply. Friends, say
you.
goodbye to Santos.
Thank you, Santos.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, brother.
Bye.
Speak to you on the phone.
Much love.
Much love. Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Bye bye.
Research flatters.